Hey guys, so I've pretty much only been talking about football this whole time on YouTube, but today that's going to change. I'm going to talk about college basketball today, since we're only 2 weeks away from the college basketball season really starting. And plus, I was given advice to get more viewers by talking about other sports. That was advice somebody gave me, and I'm going to kind of use that to my advantage a little bit. Another way that I could have probably figured out how to get more viewers if I actually uploaded a video of like all the different times I had to like reset like my videos because I don't have editing software, so I can't give you like a blooper reel of these videos I make because I always mess up. It usually takes like 5 or 6 takes. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the USA Today coaches poll that was released. It looks like probably around a week ago or like earlier this week. So I'm going to go down to the list and just give you guys my insight on this. So tied for number one, we have Kentucky and North Carolina. Now, basically, Kentucky's going to get the real test this year of how they're going to work with new players because basically Kentucky has a bunch of one and done players. We're going to see these guys for 1 year, unless they're kind of like the last Kentucky team who actually gives a second year a try because they want to win a championship. So we'll kind of see what happens with them this year. North Carolina, now they do have some returning starters back. Pretty much a lot of good returning players. Who knows? All right, at three we have Maryland. Now, a lot of people are kind of like, I feel like they're kind of overlooking Maryland a little bit because, truthfully, I read somewhere, I don't know what magazine company it was, I think it was probably Athlon Sports, but they're predicting Maryland's going to win the whole tournament. And truthfully, I don't even see Maryland making the Final Four. The number four, we have the defending champions, Duke. Now, I don't think Duke is number one because I think that's kind of why, because they have a lot of new players this year, like Tyus Jones and Okafor, all went to the NBA. So that's why they're four and not one. At number five, we have Kansas. Now, we haven't really seen Kansas in the Final Four in a couple years. Normally, Kansas is one of those teams that's always up there. Like, when it's tournament time, they just kind of just lose it. At number six, we have Virginia. Well, they did lose to Michigan State in the second round, but people are confident in them this year. And then Iowa State at seven. Now, they lost in the first round to UAB in the tournament this past season. And Iowa State's coach went on to coach the Bulls this season, so we'll see how Iowa State operates under the new coach. Oklahoma, well, they do have. I think they have some returning stars. I don't really look. I haven't really like looked at rosters. I'm just going on these rankings. Villanova, I think if they can make it past the second round, they have the potential of the Final Four, but we'll see. Arizona at 10. This could be the year they go to the Final Four, but who really knows? Because they're always that team that kind of like loses it in the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, but they're always in the tournament. Now at 11 and 12 we have Gonzaga and Wichita State, which nobody really. They think they should just join an actual conference to see how good they really do. Maybe even have a non-conference game one year where those two teams play each other. Who knows? All right, now we have Michigan State at 13. Now this team was a seventh seed and went all the way to the Final Four last year. Kind of like the year before that, like their Kentucky or their UConn. California at 14. Now, a lot of people are really high on this team this year. I just don't know why. But maybe when it gets to around January, I'll probably have an answer. Number 15, we have Indiana. Now, Indiana's kind of like one of those wild card teams. Like, a lot of people always say they'll either go to the Final Four or lose in the first round. It's usually that between those teams. Between teams like Indiana. Utah at 16. I mean, they had a good run. I mean, they beat Stephen F. Austin in the tournament and then Georgetown. But Georgetown is usually a team that loses in the first round of the NCAA tournament, so I don't know if we can classify Utah as an elite team for this season going into it. 17, Wisconsin. Now, they did lose the national championship game to Duke, but note that Frank Kaminsky, Sam Decker are gone. They pretty much only have Nigel Hayes left. It's basically his team this season. At 18, we have Notre Dame. They almost beat Kentucky in the Elite Eight. So we will see how Notre Dame's going to build off of this. 19, we have LSU. They almost made it to the round of 32 by losing by 1 point to NC State last year. It was kind of heartbreaking to watch LSU lose like that, but I mean, kind of for me, I don't want to show bias, but LSU was in my Sweet 16 last year. So we'll see what happens with them. They get to play Kentucky this year because they're in the same conference, so we'll see how far LSU can go. At number 20, we have Vanderbilt. Now, this team didn't even come close to making the tournament last year. But we'll see how they do this season, because I guess people are really high on Vanderbilt this season. All right, 21 we have Baylor. Now, they lost to Georgia State in the first round of the NCAA tournament this past season. Sorry. They pretty much blew it. They pretty much lost it. Like, they were up by, I don't know, what was it, 9 points with, I don't know, what was it, a minute 30 to go? I don't know. If someone can comment below, it'd mean a lot. 22, we have Butler. Now, this team, if you remember those 2 years, 2 years back to back, when they made it to the championship game, but then they lost to Duke, basically by only 2 points, because Gordon Hayward almost made a half-court shot to win that game. And they got blown out by Kemba Walker and UConn. But I don't think Butler is as good as they used to be honest with you. I know they almost beat Notre Dame in the round of 32 to go to the Sweet 16, but they probably could have beaten Wichita State if they would have beaten Notre Dame. Then they could have played Wichita State, and they probably could have won that. Who knows? We'll see what happens with Butler. 23, you have West Virginia. Now, this team got smoked by Kentucky last season in the Sweet 16 round of the tournament, I believe it was. So we'll kind of see how this team kind of rebounds after that. We'll see what happened with them in the offseason. At 24, tied for 24th, we have Connecticut and Purdue. Now, UConn, we'll see what happens, because they didn't even make the tournament last year after winning the year before that. So if I had to guess, I think Connecticut will make the tournament. The question is what seed are they going to get, and how far can they go? With Purdue, I'm actually excited to see how this team can operate as they play teams like Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, Ohio State. Yeah, the list just goes on and on. And going into that, I'm just going to say the Big Ten is going to be the toughest, most competitive conference in college basketball this season. So here we go. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to predict my preseason Final Four. Now, basically, this is not probably going to be 100% accurate because the tournament committee sets this up. I don't. So don't laugh at me if my Final Four are in the same fourth of the bracket. This is what I think as a preseason Final Four. So here's my prediction. This is for the Final Four. So it's not number 1 seeds Final Four. I like North Carolina to be there. I like Kansas to be there. I like Michigan State to be there. And I'm kind of going to go bold on this one. I'm going to say probably somebody that's not in the top 25 preseason, at least for this poll. I'm actually going to think maybe we could see a Michigan or maybe a UCLA in there. I feel like those 2 teams could actually make it. And I actually kind of want to see those teams make it. Just see what they can do in the Final Four. But truthfully, that 4th team would probably be Arizona. I mean, Arizona's been close a couple times, but... And out of all that, I like Kansas to win it all. That's my preseason pick. Kansas over North Carolina in the championship game. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Have a good day.